Every great disaster is preceded by a series of small missteps. Nobody decides to see their lives implode. Nobody walks into a bar and says, I'm going to become an alcoholic today. Nobody does a little flirting at work and thinks, I'm going to blow up my marriage today. Nobody skips their kid's game and thinks that they're going to become an absentee dad today. Little steps precede the big disaster. It's how it always has worked. And the reality is, we want to be paying attention. We want to do what we can to get beyond that and think smart so that we don't find ourselves in that place ourselves. And the reality is, we can. We absolutely can. We can take steps to avoid this. We can see it coming, so to speak. So you've kicked off your new year with the series Why. Do you know what's at the heart of the series? At the heart of the series Why is the idea that you and I, that we become owners of our own journey. Owners, say it with me, owners, say it, owners, owners. Here's the reality. If you don't own your spiritual journey, if you don't look after your own heart and spiritual life, no one else will. Some folks will try, some folks will lend a hand, but nobody can do it for you. You've got to take responsibility to be the owner. And this series, Why, is walking us through the commitments necessary on the journey of a life map journey where we're being challenged, and that kind of the pathway of the life map is a beautiful picture here at Cross Church of how to take hold of your journey and make wise decisions so that the collapse never comes, so that you can actually build your life on a solid foundation. What I'm here to do today is to help some lives take solid ground, or to take the negative side, to prevent some collapses. You know how many kids collapse in high school? Just thinking somebody else will look out for me, somebody else says, I'll deal with my spiritual life later, and that's wrong. It's false. True story, my son goes to a school that's a really good school in a good neighborhood, and you know what? There are some challenges there. He's had several of his friends die in the last year or two. And the school just seems to always have another funeral. In fact, you might have heard of one. The Olympian, Tyson Gay, the runner, his daughter Trinity Gay was shot. And, just because she's a celebrity doesn't prevent her from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And you sit back thinking, are the kids concerned about their spiritual lives? Because it matters. Just recently we had a friend of my son's die, 15-year-old kid. I said, now, Corey, didn't you know this guy? He says, yeah, Dad. In fact, the day he was shot, it was Tuesday. He said, Tuesday morning, Bobby and I were talking in class, and I was trying to ask him some serious questions and talking to him about getting his life together. And he looked at me and he said, Corey, I really need to. I really need to take steps to get my life together. I think I'm going to get on that someday. That day was the end of his life. We've got to take hold of our journeys and say, I'm going to take responsibility, because you don't have to be a statistic who measures on the collapse scale because a series of small missteps led to the big disaster. I know what it's like to be in the middle of the disaster, and you don't want to be there, and you don't have to be. You can simply take the leadership of your journey and think, I want bedrock. I want to build my life on solid ground. Now, I'm not trying to hang out too long on this basic point, but I feel as though I'm doing a little bit of convincing. Like we don't think of this as all that real. We just don't think of it as a real deal. Trust me, this is what I've been doing for 30 years. I've seen so many lives come undone. And there's none of us that aren't 1, 2, 3 decisions away from finding ourselves the one laying in the rubble.